Hey everyone, Hanz here, hope all of you are doing well. In this video I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between intelligence and intellectualism and a little bit why, but maybe I should make a differentiation I've made. So intellectualism. An ism always hints at something being an idea, right? A certain idea out there, something that's in people's heads. Now, intelligence, intellect, if you then add intellect in front of ism, suddenly it's about intelligence idea. Weird. Very weird to combine that into a word, those two. So, what that seems to me is like that intellectuals, they love the idea of being intelligent, I suppose. I could be wrong, but or maybe someone will throw like a thesaurus at my head and then scream that, oh no, you're absolutely wrong, and could be. I'm just talking about how I see it. And as always, you take the good and you leave what you do not like, right? But so, intellectualism, the idea of being intelligent. That does not seem like a thing that intelligent people would do. And usually it also comes down to being very good at memorizing. Intellectualism always comes back to academic memorizing. What you get out of a book. And that's usually it. Is there a use to that? Is there a value to that? Yes, there is. I'm not saying that these people are utterly useless or what have you. That's not a thing at all. I'm just saying for what it is. And it is incomplete. Because intelligence is more than just raw brain power. It is more than the raw capacity to memorize everything. The problem, for example, is that if that is the sole focus of your being, you're always going to be, led by someone else. They might be wondering, Hans, what are you saying? What do you mean? Well, if all you can do is memorize, then you can only, all that's in your head is basically going to be what someone else put in there. What some more imaginative individual wrote down is what the intellectual memorizes. Does that make the intellectual actually intelligent though? Makes him a good memorizer, or her, but that's usually where that begins and ends. Because intelligence means many things. And perhaps the Western tongue, the English tongue, but I think many others too, is sort of handicapped in really describing what intelligence is, like the whole picture, if you will, that is within the mind. But maybe there are some very ill-intentioned people who want everyone to look at it as in such a limited way. Because what other types of intelligence are there? You have somatic intelligence, that is the memory of your body. You have emotional intelligence, being able to cue with others, how are they feeling and how much do you understand that. There is intuition, seeing someone and thinking, oh, that seems like a bad dude, I'm gonna stay away, before you ever share the word, or a good guy, I'm gonna go have a talk right away. Intuition. Imagination, that's also a huge one, I would say. And being crafty with what you see in front of you. So creativity. Creativity and imagination are closely linked, but slightly. You can be creative with what is around you. Imaginative means it comes straight from your mind. Might be based on things that exist, but you go like, you add something to it. A horse with wings. Just saying something mythological being, but there you go, like imaginative. And yeah, I think already kind of made a bit of my point, is that in the white positive sphere we find that many really are absorbed by intellectualism, the idea of being intelligent. and I find that it is a little bit linked to an ego. I find that, who feels the need? Do intelligent people really feel the need to be seen as intelligent? It's the same as, does a strong man feel the need to be, seen as strong all the time? No, they do just things that prove it, right? I'm not saying that everyone who really puts more focus on raw brain power is by extent does an intellectual that should be cast out or is an egotist. Not saying that, but it is very common. At least in Hanz's experience. If not, I'm very happy that all of you have never come across it. But as far as I can see, and also in the white positive sphere, and that's really again what it comes down to, I see so many, or I have come across so many, not anymore. I've kind of cleaned it out of my life because I found it more of a nuisance, and these people in the end always in a certain way become disappointing eventually, because I think that is all they need to be, is just look smart. And no, that's unacceptable. Or even be good memorizers, but then stopping there, and it's like, yeah, but you're not a well-rounded being that way, so you're not a help to anyone. You're only a help in the field where you memorize stuff. You're not a help in anything else. If you're an excellent memorizer and that's all you can do, it's the only thing, I think there is a term for that, maybe autism. It's kind of an autism spectrum thing, sort of, maybe. Okay, fine, then just do that. Just be that. Totally okay, not a problem with it. But if you have other capacities that you just do not exert yourself in for whatever reason, well, that's just for shame, isn't it? And that says a lot about these individuals in question. Now, I'm not going to go into much detail there because I think that is unnecessary. What I do think, though, is in the white positive sphere is that there is a lot of good folk who are not interested in intellectualism, who think that they should bow to it, that they feel like, you have people who feel demeaned by it. That is maybe in and of itself not really a cool attitude. Might get into that eventually. But then you have people who find it arrogant, so there already you have like this friction, which is sad, because everyone ought to be working together. At least, work with people that you trust, who share the same values. That's good enough. And then there are those who are not really, like, they understand, like, I don't have a mind for academia. I don't have a mind for memorizing too much that is not in my daily life or part of the work that I like to do, or that I just do. So they feel like they need to just obey, if you will. And of course, the intellectualist types who have a big ego about them, they love nothing more. But that is evil. It cannot be that someone serves another's ego that way, especially not in a sphere that says it's about caring for people. That it is for defending the lives of people, because it's not about keeping people alive alone, it's also about the quality of life. I may hope. Where to continue from there? So, yeah, having mentioned the other types of intelligence, if intellectualism is the sole basis that everyone looks at as what represents intelligence, then all the other types are going to be sort of pushed out, and that is unacceptable. Because for example, I know one YouTuber, Little Frick, definitely worth looking into. She really brings a lot of heart in her videos. With Hanz, for example, I guess you're closer to just more raw data type stuff, or a bit more questioning life. I guess a little bit of philosophy, I suppose. Very much observation based, looking at the world, taking it in, and then sharing my thoughts. That's what I do. Lil Frick really does not do that. She brings heart. She really brings the love in, and I adore that. I am such a fan of her videos in that sense as well. But we are supposed to, or most in the white positive sphere are supposed to look at that as, oh, but that's where is the where's the prestige? Where is the titles? Where is the deep talk, or what is supposed to be deep talk? What looks smart here? And so many good people do this, and I think that is such a shame. I think that cuts out I would even say it cuts the heart and the imagination and the creativity and so much of what is internal to every single one of us, the ones of us who are healthy and sane. It cuts everything right out, and that is so sad, I would say. It really is sad. And it holds us back from dealing with the anti-white who knows how to manipulate people that way. We do not need to manipulate anyone. We can just be honest and speak from the heart. It's like, we care about you. We want to see our people do well. We want to see the restoration of the West, and without hopefully the flaws and the faults of yore. We take the good and we leave what was not good, I suppose. We leave what was damaging, and we do not let anti-whites dictate our lives anymore. But if the sphere is so focused only on intelligence, meaning memorizing only, but if you get it from books, it's okay, and it have to be, of course, the books of our guys. Well, we have a problem, don't we? And I think you and you who is listening, or most of you, can sense that too. I hope so. This is not me pointing fingers at the types who are really heavily focused on brain power only, because there is a need for that too. But again, it's not about pushing something out and getting all the rest in. No, it's about completing the entire puzzle. And the puzzle being, well, me, you, everyone involved as an individual, so we can work together. It's do I get into the whole individualist and collectivist stuff? It really is a bit of a false dichotomy at the end of the day, because you need both, or at least Western man needs both. We are such unique, wonderful beings in and of our own right, but we still need each other. And within ourselves, there are also so many components, and we need all of these. Yeah. So, and maybe worth bringing into. So, for example, what I then envision, for example, is you have some guys, and I'm not saying they're bad guys. I'm not gonna name names because there's no purpose to it, because it can be anyone, truly. There are some. They have their whole library in the background, for example, to show off, oh, look at what I read or what I have read and blah blah blah. Ain't I a smart guy? And you can be. But then I look at that and say, for example, you might use those books actually, you might glue them all together and I have like a broomstick in the middle that you somehow fit in there. You might start lifting those books a bit, buddy. I know I'm being a bit silly, I get it, but you need to have well-rounded people is all I'm trying to say. Maybe that's a bit insulting to some, I do not know. But again, intellectualism, it can serve as a smokescreen for a lot of people who have not completed themselves either. And if you want quality people, if you want well-rounded people, if you want a successful sphere, if you will, where all the groups within that who are doing well, part of that has to be completing, that everyone, or the vast majority at least, are complete people. You cannot have the weakness, weakness being a choice. You cannot have any weakness in that sense in there. Weakness and vulnerability, by the way, two separate things as well. think I made a video on that already. Just throwing it in there real quick, because weakness is not an insult, no, it's a choice. And that's a choice that everyone makes for him or herself. If someone else calls you weak, well, let them then show themselves to be so well-rounded that they can help you, right? Like, oh, Hans, you're so weak with emotion, and then I'll say, okay, show me how to, function better emotionally. And then they'll no doubt will be able to do that, right? But then hopefully that is that exactly so. And then Hans would learn, Hans would gain strength, and that is looking out for each other, by the way. And that is at least what Hans would like to see. And I think that's what many others would like to see too. And it shows that we have many types of people in the sphere. We cannot, it's silly to have them all pursue like something academic. No, be well-rounded. We're gonna need people of intuition. We're gonna need people of creativity. We're gonna have people of imagination. Hi guys. We're gonna have people of raw brain power. Hi guys. We're gonna need to have people who have somatic intelligence. Body intelligence, the whole thing. And if you do not know anything about what I just talked about, it might just be most important for you. There is nothing shameful about any of this either. If you think that you should be ashamed about that, guess what? That's probably a mimetic pathogen. That's some anti-white at some point in life who told you, or someone who passed on their pathogens onto you, who gave you basically a bad lesson, just as they were learned in a bad way. And yeah, I think if even half of everyone involved right now could actually look at the intellectual types and say, guys, that's all really cool that you know all this stuff about history, like the raw data, that you know all about whatever it's going to be. We need that. But maybe let these guys talk about, what about the other types of intelligence? And do you actually interact with that? Did you get it from yourself, from your own being, not just from a book? Also, I suppose some people, when they hear emotion, they immediately think about these maniacs who screech and cry and whatever. No, that is not someone. Like, there's a difference between being very emotional and being emotionally intelligent, right? The emotionally intelligent usually can not hold back, that's not healthy, but they have a better emotional control over themselves. Actually, the more emotionally manic, I suppose, someone behaves, the least emotionally intelligent they are. But there is also the other side of those who repress that in themselves, because it's about the books, it's not about what the feelings are. No, dare to be angry, dare to feel. A lot of people who are depressed also, let me tell you, that's repressed. Like depression or repression, depression, it's I think it's basically the same thing. If you are someone who feels depressed or has felt depressed, that is, it's repressed rage. That is what the depression is. And depressed people usually have emotionally allowed themselves to be clubbed into submission. They are not allowed to express themselves as if anyone can force it onto you, but it happens, right? Children are trained that way. Just to shut up and take it and that sort of thing, and that creates depression, because the vast majority of children are born with a morality within them. They know what's right and wrong. They truly do. But then a wrong is done onto them and they're told to just take it. That creates depression, rage, and then that rage, they get a few whacks against the head or something hideous like that, or that it doesn't get acknowledged. Depression soon follows. There are depressed children who are not even teenagers yet. What even is this world? You know? And in the white positive sphere, I barely see. I do not think I have come across anything myself of people who want to get that out. They do not want to. It's like they're so afraid of their inner self, and by extent of that fear, they don't want others to do it either, because then they have to acknowledge within themselves that they're oppressing themselves. Makes sense? And then you get this whole situation of what is a good example, an analogy of sorts. A bucket full of lobsters, and the other lobsters pull the one that's about to free itself back down. Don't confront us by being yourself. Don't that sort of thing. That they are not their selves. And yeah, that's. I guess that's a bit more or less what I wanted to bring up in regards to the difference between intellectualism and intelligence. I'm all about intelligence. It's a really good thing. It's better than being a dum-dum. Hanz is doing his very best to not be the latter. And yeah, it has a lot to do with comprehending yourself at the end of the day. Not necessarily comprehending others. Although that let me put it differently. To comprehend others, you first have to comprehend yourself. Because then, when you're fully awakened, you can bounce what others think and feel off to what you think and feel. And you can either, you can make your conclusions from there. Otherwise, you're very keen to be led by the nose by others. And there are very, very bad people who want nothing more than that. Because they themselves are, the ultimate weaklings are actually the ones with the most power, strangely enough. But that says it's all in and of itself, right? How does that happen? It's because people do not believe in their personal strength and do not even recognize their personal strengths. They need to go find it first. And yeah, I hope with this little video that I've maybe encouraged at least one person to look into even just a snippet of it. Then Hanz is happy. And Hanz is definitely has done such work for himself and is going to do more of that in the coming years, whatever. There is everything to be gained there. And if you raise the quality of all the individuals, you raise the quality of the collective. So why positive sphere? Hereby, if you want to be among better people, you have to be a better person yourself too. If you want to succeed, if you want to win, and then you have to start winning within yourself, and then you can externalize that. Oh, and of course, if that does not happen, I made a VR video to Southern, but I'm gonna talk about it back a little bit. I told Yuns is the title, and there are so many people who keep getting trapped. They allow themselves to be surrounded by snitches, I suppose, by bad people, two-faced people, liars, cheats, deceivers, and part of that is because they themselves have not looked within themselves. They have not worked on themselves before everything else. Because if you work on yourself, you have reason to respect yourself, and if you respect yourself enough, no ego, not about chest stomping and that sort of thing. That is not self-respect. Self-respect is truly being satisfied with who you are and wanting to protect that, defending that which is you. Then it's going to be a lot more difficult for deceivers to come your way, because you're not going to let anything slide. And if you are intelligent enough, you, by having been on that journey, you will recognize those around you who have done it also or who have not. And I can promise you, these deceivers, they usually 99.9% of them have not, because they're willing to be deceivers, and that in and of itself already shows much. That's in a certain sense also, I guess, where you have something like, well, imagine then that you can convince the deceiver. Yeah, that would be interesting. Could yield some interesting results, and maybe a few less people would do stupid things that would get them in all kinds of trouble because they let hyenas close to themselves. Or not. Maybe Hanz is wrong. Who knows? Who can say? I do not think it has truly been tried yet. And in the white positive sphere, there are types, I suppose, who are, well, as I said, charlatans. I've mentioned before, there are. Hanz himself has come across charlatans and narcissists in the white positive sphere who are like vultures descending on a wounded lamb, if you will, right? Or a wounded wolf cub, whatever it's going to be. They are present, they're posing as good guys and all of that, and a lot of people are listening to them. Can promise you, the moment those types have exactly what they want, they'll drop everything like a rock. There is proof of that, over the last few years. Political groups, political leaders, the whole thing that everyone kept believing in, because again, they were not willing to do the inner work. So let someone else carry all the weight. That sort of attitude. I'll just stand there waving a flag and that sort of nonsense. No. If you want to see better, if you want to be better, you need to work on yourself. And if you want the sphere to do well, if you want to truly get rid of a lot of two-faced deceivers and what have you, well, you need to go on that inner journey. Sounds a bit fake, but I have given you a name to look into as well. A few names even, if you want to get some examples. And yeah, I guess if you have any more questions, comment section is open. You do with it what you like. I definitely wanted to talk to it because I think it's important. I do this because I care, and I want everything to just become better. And the better people individually want to become, then everything else follows from there. You're not going to have a situation where the group is going to be super well if all the individuals that form the group are somehow living in the sewers, I suppose. I do not really think that is a thing at all. So, I guess, take their responsibility. And for those who are worried about the future and what the anti-whites might try to get up to, well, how shall one put it? The quicker everyone starts working on this, the quicker everything starts to become better. Or you can just do the same old thing over and over, knock your head into the wall. That wall is not going to fall over, but your head might be, well, not in the best of shape anymore after a while. And yeah, I think I have to close it down now because the machine is about to give out. Been a bit of a long one, hope it wasn't too ranty. Nonetheless, hopefully some of you at least will look into this. And for those who do, take your time. There is time. There's always time to work on yourself. Be the master of time. Do not let time master you. And anything else is being a responsible person. And by being so, you will signal that to others who are also responsible. You'll recognize each other better. Your life might just turn around for the better too. It's all about wanting to win. And with that said, you'll have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.